Welcome everyone to week 3 of the Teemo Cup. We have today SSU versus Denver, and I am joined today by Jake Bonk. He has his name as Jungle Bonk right now with me on the caster, ready to get this exciting game starting going underway.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Yeah, I'm super excited. For can you tell us a little bit about what we got going on here in these picks and bans? Tell us what we might be seeing in the game here.
As we're looking towards these picks and bans, you can see from the side of Denver, they're going to be looking to be getting a lot of roams off because they have the double semi-globals with that Nocturne TF. They can be able to get anywhere they want to very quickly. So what SSU is going to have to look out for is the fact that even though they might be taking an even fight at any second, Nocturne or TF could just be joining that fight and make it a 3v2 favor of Denver. So SSU really just has to watch for those semi-globals as they play through these mid-game fights.
Cool, yeah. So let's talk about what's going on over here on Shawnee's side. You were a part of those picks and bans, so tell us kind of what Shawnee's game plan is going in for this game one.
So as the champions we do have a lot of engage, but we also have a lot of disengage. So it kind of counters part of the thematic they are trying to go through with their heavy engage. And because of the nature of the champions we do have, we can kind of absorb a lot of pressure and then re-exert that pressure into the team and go for a counter engage more style. So that way, it's going to be a lot of probably push and pull in these fights. You're going to see one team engage, the other team backs off, they re-engage. It's going to be a bunch of push and pull until one team comes out on top.
Well, cool. Well, I'm definitely excited. I don't ever really get to see these guys play too much, so I'm excited to see what the lead team is all about here.
Yeah, I'm just a little update on the drafting situation. Or not drafting, just Teemo Cup in general. I'm pretty sure this is the farthest this SSU team and SSU in general has gotten in the Teemo Cup. Normally they get to the first or second round, and they're all the way up to round 3, top 8, I believe, right now. So they are doing pretty well. I'm pretty sure, yeah, all the games so far also have been like pretty solid 2-0 stomps. So they're looking really good and feeling really good going into this third week of games.
Well, awesome. Well, yeah. Well, it looks like we're getting ready to load in here, so we're gonna start getting into these games. Then gonna start hammering these out. So let's get it.
Yeah, and just a couple important things to note, just from like summoner spells, is that with that Hecarim, he has two styles he can kind of go for in the current meta. He can kind of go for a very 1v1 centric ignite, look to gank a lot and get a lot of pressure that ways, or go for more farm till 6, use ghost to, and then use ghost to run over mid game fights. And it looks like he's going to go for a more early pressure. So we could see a very exciting snowbally game as both sides try to trade blows early on.
Yeah, it looks like there's a little bit of a standoff here over top left towards solo lane. We see Jarvan throw out a little spike here.
Yeah, normally the junglers really like to contest the enemy raptors because a lot of early jungle pathing, you can get a lot knowing where the raptors are and where they started. As you see, we're going to see a little late invade to get some vision on the raptors so they can tell where Jarvan started and where he's planning on going with this game. It does look like they're going to be starting opposite sides of the map. So when you see this, you kind of can tell that the action won't start until that 4 or 5 minute mark when the junglers start their second time clearing the camps. Because since they're going to most likely be on opposite side of the maps, as you can see, there are pings going down. So maybe SSU thinks they might go for an invade after the initial start. But if you want my prediction, I think they're just going to just farm it out and just trade opposite sides of the maps.
Yeah, for sure. It's really interesting to see, you know, just the kind of the setups and everything. Because I come primarily from Smite, so it's a different game, but it's definitely going to be fun to watch and get to see how this plays out.
Yeah, I know Smite didn't that you just have a massive update over there. Like, didn't they add a bunch of like lane camps and a bunch of stuff over in that game?
Yeah, they introduced an entirely new map.
Oh, we got a new map, but it was just a skin overhaul basically, like a couple of seasons ago, or a couple of seasons ago, almost like 5 to 6 years from now. But just little fun things to talk about because not really much is going. As you can see, actually, Jeremy is just going to try to avoid that ward so he can keep him guessing a little bit. They're gonna know he's heading towards that bot side, but they're not gonna know if he's delaying his clear speed. Is he clearing fast? Is he clearing slow? So he's just kind of mixing them up there. Just a small little play to notice as you just like check out the map.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Shawnee looks like they're taking control over on that bot lane on Duo's side there.
Yeah,
Kind of getting that good pressure.
Yeah, I was gonna say, looking at this bot lane, Rel is one of the newer champions. Actually, we see a gank coming in on the mid lane. The EQ flash comes through. It looks like they might get the kill. They're just gonna end up burning the T at flash.
Oh.
It was actually a really good gank there because the thing with Malzahar is when he hits that 6 mark, he kind of has an insta kill button, and as he just locks down whoever, so it's a very good setup for that Jarvan to come in. So that flash burn right now could end up turning into a kill later. So it was a very good burn for them to get through.
Yeah, definitely. That Twisted Fate doesn't look like he really wants to go back. He's trying to hold as much as he can, but we'll see if he might overstay his welcome there in mid lane.
Yeah, it looks like actually Humble is doing a very good job. He's gonna get. Oh, as we see a trade in the bot lane, Doctor actually taking a tower shot, so it's actually gonna harm him a lot. As there's a big fight happening in the mid lane as Hecarim is coming in. Humble is looking for the solo kill, and he ends up getting the solo kill as Jeremy comes through with that red buff burn as they're gonna tick down. Hecarim does not have flash, and it looks like they're going to look to chase him as the bot lane is also roaming up. Most likely this Hecarim will fall here, and SSU will pick up a nice 2 early kills in that mid lane skirmish. Humble needs to be a little careful because that Nocturne is looking for him here, but the Nocturne might end up trading away his life because he didn't take too many tower shots. Now we see it engage on the bot as a lot of action is kicking off. We see a TP coming through on the Shen as they're looking to dive onto this Alistar. Looks like they are just going to take him out, and SSU puts 3 kills up on the board, and the Denver responds with 1 kill in that mid lane. And SSU, they want to kind of get their snowballing cop going. They want to close these games out, get a nice lead before the globals on the side of Denver can start putting pressure on them and making them question their decisions a little bit. So these are nice kills. They got them onto some of the primary damage dealers that are in this comp. So it's a pretty good start for SSU.
Yeah, I mean, starting any game off in any kind of MOBA where you're, up a couple kills, you're taking out the damagers, as you said. I mean, it's a good solid start for SSU. And like you said, it's going to make Denver kind of think about, how they're going to approach this.
Yeah, and as you can see, it's actually one dangers I will have to say is that Nocturne top lane picking up a kill could be problematic for the flashless Malzahar, because once Nocturne hits 6, he could try to look to do a little gank onto that Nocturne with the Hecarim, see if they could try to pick off the Mouse. As we can actually see, Denver starting up this dragon here, and it will most likely go to them uncontested. We might try to see a cheeky steal try to come out of that Ezreal. Jarvan could get away, and it actually looks like SSU is going to opt in to go for a fight here as they do have the roam advantage as they're going in onto this Hecarim. TF ult coming down, going onto the backline. Denver does secure the dragon as Humble is going to watch where he's going to throw down this ult, as he is electing to hold onto his right now as they're looking to chase down this Xayah, who did just burn her flash. Jeremy catches with the EQ, is going to try to knock him out with the red buff, and they're going to end up trading 1-for-1, and Denver picking up that early Mountain Dragon.
Yeah, it's definitely tough, to lose any kind of objectives, but since it's still so early, it's not too big of a loss. And Shawnee picked up a couple kills off of it, so while they didn't get the Mountain Dragon, they definitely at least got something out of that exchange.
Yeah, and if just looking over, when you hit X, you can actually see players' golds. You can see that Mitch is starting to build a small advantage in that bot lane as he already does have those 2 kills picked up. You can see that is very large for SSU since they do want that Ezreal to get up and get him going as fast as possible, because that means Denver can't go for any more of those like sneaking type of dragons because he's going to be so powerful on that Ezreal. I was just seeing a cheeky tech flash coming over from this Alistar, but Mitch is going to respect it and back away respectfully. Everything's even out. One thing I do want to point out is the fact that the junglers are even on CS. Normally, with how the game does play out, Hecarim does farm a lot faster than Jarvan because he does more AoE damage. So the fact that they are so close in CS is actually kind of problematic for Denver, and good on the side of Jerbear being able to keep up on that margin. So that's a very good thing looking in. As you can see, a lot of the CS is even across the board. There's a slight CS lead in the mid lane, but that's because TF does have better shoving powers than Malzahar does in the early game. And he does have his E passive to give him a little bit of extra gold every time he kills minions. So
yeah, definitely interesting here. It seems like kind of stalemating right now over in the dual lane, just kind of taking out minions. We might see a little bit of a poke, but nothing too crazy going on right now.
yeah, we're probably going to be in a cooldown phase for the next like 30 to 40ish seconds as champs are looking to like get their next couple backs off, complete their first item components, as they're going to be hitting a couple big power spikes. But this TF does have to be wary in this mid lane though, because at any second with Mal's having his flash up, he can just flash R on top of that TF and Jarvan can look. As we can see, TF does have his R going up and he's going to look for that bot lane. And it does look like Mal's is following, but he is going to be delayed as they're going in. Nocturne ult coming down with the TP as there's probably going to be a 5-man play in this bot lane. As Shen ult is
you in trouble. Ooh.
But yeah, as you can see, it's that double semi-global threat. Nocturne actually using his ult brilliantly there, canceling out SSU's vision so the Malzahar and the Jarvan on SSU's side could not respond properly and get in the right positions to counter that 5-man bot play. A little greedy by SSU going for that tower plate when they really didn't need to, knowing that TF was on the way down and Nocturne had his TP up. Good collapse by Denver, bringing the gold lead back in their favor. The kills did go onto the Nocturne and TF, which is a little scary because those are going to be the primary divers that are going to be coming for this Malzahar and for this Ezreal. As they're actually going to look to try to make a play on this TF since Malz does have his ult. The TF is going to respect it and back off. And as we're looking into this later stages of this mid game, the dragon is spawning in around a minute, so we could potentially see one team start that dragon up early and the other team opt in to get that herald to get a little bit extra gold with the tower plates coming through. Most likely I would like to see SSU personally go for the dragon instead, but there looks like they might actually try to look for this rift herald a little bit earlier since they do have semi-pro, but they're going to end up chilling back. I do want to see them get this dragon though, because I think it can become problematic if the side of Denver does pick up that soul early on, because they did get an early soul start, so they could look for a soul win con here, because they will potentially have a good soul with this next one being a cloud. They're going to have an opportunity at either that infernal or that ocean dragon soul. As we actually might see a play coming on the mid lane as Alistar is roaming up, Humble backing off respectfully and not getting caught out there. And looking, it does look like that they could have an early start on this Drake, as Jerbear is looking to get a base off before this dragon fight, pick up a couple wards, pick up vision. As Mitch needs to be careful in that bot lane though, as Hecarim is looking to gank him. He's at E4. The Hecarim actually kind of went too far forward. He actually might be able to get caught out here as the Malzahar does come in. They pick up the kill on the Hecarim. Knockout coming down to deny vision. Shen TP coming in. They're looking for this TF on the backside. It looks like they're going to end up with a taunt coming through, and they're going to give that shutdown over to Mitch, picking up that 150. So SSU takes the play that Denver was going, turns it around, picks up 2 kills, and they're going to also pick up that dragon and not lose the Rift Herald on the other side of the map.
Yeah, huge play for Shawnee there. You know, after the kills in dual lane on Shawnee State, that answer back was what they needed. I mean, it was a very good way to answer back to that Denver pressure so early on. You know, yes, they have the global ults, but you know, Shawnee State will punish you if you're not there.
They're actually looking to get dual kill lane kill here as the Jarvan ult comes down, dunking that Xayah into the ground. Sorry, I had to cut you off there. Just get that another kill going off, and this is actually really big because Xayah is going to lose another wave to the Void, and Denver's going to lose that golden XP that's just kind of on the map. They're just going to lose it to the Void again, and that's very poor.
Yeah, it looks like Denver is gonna be trying to take out that Rift Herald though up top, but we'll see if Shawnee decides to jump in. Probably not. But I mean, you know, it's just after all those kills, after that team fight, it's just not. Denver's kind of sitting in a little bit of a disadvantage right now here.
Yeah, there is a small gold lead in the favor of SSU. They do end up picking that Rift Herald up, and they did give it over to the Nocturne, which is a unique play because normally you give it over to the jungler because he can choose which lane to drop it into. But it looks like they're going to try to snowball this Nocturne really hard this game. So they're going to try to funnel a lot of gold into this top lane to look and make sure he's the one that's going to be carrying some of these fights. As you see a Skull Crab fight, it does look like did Hecarim did not steal away the Skull Crab yet. I think he missed the smite there. But if you look, Nocturne does have a limited time to get those platings on the top lane. So that's why you can see Jake up here already. He has a Herald. They know they're going to try to get that plate. So he's going to hover, try to stall him out long enough to maybe he might not get that extra 320 gold. And in fact, kind of nullifying the value of picking up that Rift Herald. And as everything's leaking out, Mitch needs to be careful on that bot lane because TF is looking to go for that R on him. Shen R is coming down though, so it's going to be a 2v3 dive. As a beautiful Shen W comes out, blocking the damage as they try to turn around this dive. Alistar taking tower. There's two Hecarim joining. Mouse is almost here as Jake is looking for a re-engage onto the Xayah, CCing down the enemy. Malzahar finally joins the fray as he throws down his utility. Xayah drops to the ignite of Rel, and SSU is going to clean up the dive from the side of Denver, picking up 4 kills to the only one that Denver got.
SSU just is, they lose one, but they'll take your whole team with them. I mean, Shawnee State has just been so good at these early answers. They're just ready for these semi-global ults. These guys are coming in, and Shawnee is just stalwart, just holding fast.
Yeah, and I just point out the gold lead is now slowly starting to grow. They had 1K before that. Now they have a 2K gold lead. And the thing that is happening on SSU side that is not happening on Denver is SSU is sending a lot of these camps into the void. When I say void, I'm saying that no one is picking up the XP or gold from those camps. Or if they are, it's not the carries. So the carries are starting to fall behind in this. As you can look in the mid lane alone, there's a 20 CS lead for this Malzahar, and he has a total of probably about a level and a half over his opponent on that TF. And if you just look at the jungle too, there's 2 levels in the favor of Jeremy. I'm pretty sure Hecarim just dinged over, so that is 2 full levels. So you can see that the XP gap is starting to slowly build up as they look for these 4-man plays, and they don't actually, when they're not successful, they end up hurting them so much.
Yeah, Shawnee is they're kind of just draining Denver right now. They're trying to make sure that, while Denver does have, this map pressure, they can't use this map pressure to the full extent if they're just not caught up to Shawnee. And Shawnee is just trying to choke them out of resources right now. And so far, it's working.
Oh, it's a good interrupt there as we actually see his top in the top lane and that bot lane as Nocturne is going to throw his ult down to get people off of him. As he's actually re-engaging using the Stride Breaker, trying to get cheeky pill. He's actually most likely going to end up falling here as the Rel combo comes down, CC him down. Hecarim is going to look for the follow-up as we're going to see 3v3 fight in that top lane. Hopefully SSU just backs out, but the Rel could end up getting caught out here as we keep seeing that fight in that bot lane between the mid laners. Rel's looking to get out here. Taunt coming through. They're going to see a big CC chain, and it looks like Denver is going to pick up the kill on the Rel. As in the bot lane, we do see Humble ends up coming on top of that duel and solo killing that TF. So in the end, it's a 2-for-1 on the course across the map. SSU is going to shove a couple towers into the void once again. And even though they do pick up that kill, they picked it up on the Rel. That's not one of the carries on SSU's side. It wasn't that Jarvan who has a 300 gold shutdown. It wasn't this Malzahar that has up to a 450 shutdown. So it's a couple of these kills are kind of null as the Nocturne is looking to come onto this Ezreal, but the Shen ult coming through, and they're going to end up picking him up as this dragon is spawning up in the next second. And now they're going to rotate, and it's going to be pretty much a free dragon as they do have a man advantage right now.
Yeah, Shawnee State, I mean, they're just cleaving through Denver ever so slowly. Like you said, they did pick up, they did get that pickup, but, what did it really do for them? Like you said, they didn't get the kills on any of Shawnee State's carries or any of the big players right now that would kind of bring them back. So, Denver's just kind of struggling to find their stride here right now.
I just want to point out that for people that maybe tune in every now and again or don't follow, SSU has historically struggled this season with these type style comps that the enemy has drafted, with the TF, with the Nocturne that has these semi-globals and following up. And I just want to say they've done a brilliant job this game following the TF, following the Nocturne, and countering acting these engages that the Denver is trying to put pressure onto their members with. So I just wanted to point out how fantastic they're doing that. And actually looking at the bot lane, they are going to look for that double TP play in there as both members coming through, and Humble is unfortunately is going to fall here. He might be able to look for a return kill, but he will go down to in the end to that TF, and he actually does get the return kill. That gold does end up, that 550 gold bounty does end up going to the TF, so it is worth it for the side of Denver picking up that large bounty and denying Humble, who is very, very strong right now on this Malzahar, as you can see as he turned that 2v1. As the game cooling off a little bit, I just want to point out, there's a kind of, with the builds, I like to talk about that a lot. You can see that traditionally we see Xayah's go for the Gale Force, and she ends up picking the Kraken, which is going to help her get through the likes of the Rel, Jarvan, and Shen. But the issue that comes, she doesn't have that reposition tool that we do see that Xayah's end up like to go for. And with that shutdown in the bot lane, we do see that TF does pick up his rapid fire cannon, extending his attack range a little bit so he can try to get those gold cards onto the carry members of SSU a little bit easier, because he has had a little trouble this game hitting that Malzahar, hitting that Ezreal, and trying to lock those two down for that Hecarim and Nocturne to then follow up onto them with.
Yeah, and Shawnee looks like they're going to be collapsing on Rift Herald, trying to see if they can get it here.
And they will end up getting, as Denver doesn't want to take a fight that they don't know they're in good position to win, as their TF is on the opposite side of the map. Looks like they might try to look to collapse on this Malzahar again, so Humble needs to be a little bit careful as he actually is looking to engage onto this TF here, just going to go for a little bit poke damage. He needs to respect the TFR and the Hecarim being there as he comes out. Shen-Ar is already coming down, so they're looking to make this a 2v2. Hecarim all coming down, not really doing too much to the Malzahar. Shen's going to zone off the TF. Alistar is in the area. Hecarim is walking into the bot side jungle of SSU, and they're looking to chase him down and most likely pick up the kill on him, since he is ultless and he does not have a flash or anything. They're going to look like just to pick up a clean kill. Looks like they're going to try to give this over to Mitch. Jeremy's going to end up picking that up, which is fine. And SSU once again respond to the global pressure that Denver has and picks up another kill.
Yeah, I mean, Shawnee State, they're just doing such a good job at just finding these Denver players out and then just capitalizing on it. You know, they're taking advantage of Denver's overpositioning and getting out of place.
Yeah, and just looking across Nocturne, the thing is, the most fed member on the enemy team is this TF. And as you keep saying, the plays this TF is going for are constantly failing. That's not good when your main carry and your highest gold and resource heavy character right now isn't getting his job done. As you see on the side of SSU, the Malzahar, he's very far ahead. TF is at 9,000 gold. Malzahar is at 9,900, almost 10,000. He's about 1,000 gold up. That jungle, there's a 3,000 gold advantage in the favor for Jerbear. And in that bot lane, there's also around a 700 gold lead. And then in the top lane, Nocturne does have about a 1.5k gold lead over the Shen. But that's to be expected in that matchup. Shen doesn't need a lot of resources in farm. So you can see the carry members or carry possibilities on SSU have their gold. They have their resources over their opponents, and they're making worthwhile of their investment into those characters, unlike Denver's right now.
Yeah, you know, and if Shawnee, I mean, all they have to do is they just have to keep denying Denver in the way that they have been, and Shawnee State's going to come out of this fine. You know, they just have to keep playing.
We see a gold card coming down as we see it engage happening. Nocturne all coming down, coming off the vision as they're diving hard onto this Jarvan. Mitch E away, CCing down this Nocturne as they're peeling for their main carry. Good Jarvan ult coming down, locking down two members as the Xayah and TF can't output the DPS. As you might see a Humble pentakill coming in, but Mitch takes that away as they do pick up a clean ace and pick up that third dragon, putting themselves one away from Soul.
You know, it's Shawnee State, you don't want to push them. You engage in a team fight, and look what happens. I mean, Shawnee is just dominating right now. They're monstrous in their teamwork, and they're coming out in just such clean victories.
Yeah, and that's what we were talking about, those push and pull engagements. I said Shawnee does have a lot more opportunity to pull back and re-engage. And the same thing, it really does feel like that all Denver can do with their champs is engage. So if SSU can prevent the engage like they keep on doing, especially in that last fight, they can stall it out. They have the tools to counter engage. They have a Jarvan ult to follow up. You saw it there in that fight. They have Shen who can peel for their Ezreal, then taunt in. And you can see Rel. This is why Rel is one of the most, I don't want to say controversial in the way that she is so powerful at what she does. She can engage, she can peel, she can stall out members. They had a 3-man Hecarim ult with Xayah hitting, and all Rel said, I'm just going to hit all my abilities, and I'm just going to make sure that none of you guys can move past me. And she does that, and SSU has time to get better in position and then re-engage on top of that.
Yeah, and they absolutely take advantage of it. Looks like we will see a tower fall in a solo lane here. So Shawnee putting on that pressure, taking out some of the
Looks like they're going to 3-man dive this very bulky Shen, as he's just going to probably look to E under the tower because, as you can see, he's bulky. He's going to turn this around. He's going to pick up a kill on the Hecarim. This Triumph comes through. They're going to be taking it down. It does look like they're killing. Malzahar does show up. This Malzahar, they're going to dive the TF in the bot lane, pick that up. Malzahar turning around, going to lock down this Nocturne. Nocturne's going to burn down, and Humble's going to come down there and pick up a double kill. And across the map, it's a 4-for-1 in SSU's favor, as they are now using their Baron to push out this last hour, or this inhib tower, and take the first inhib of the game and crack open the base of Denver.
Yeah, Shawnee is just not cracking to the pressure that Denver is trying to apply, you know? Like you said, they have the ability to disengage and engage, and Shawnee is just doing so well at just making sure that they're playing to their strengths in this team comp, and they're doing it tremendously well.
Yeah, another thing with Denver, it looks like they're getting to that point in like every MOBA that you get so far behind that you just start going for desperate plays. As we can see, they're trying to go look for that play down here. Shen ult coming through, peeling that Hecarim off. And Denver looks like they're just getting a little bit desperate. Actually, they might have an engage onto this Malzahar, but Jake coming through, peeling off the other team as they turn around, killing that Alistar. They're on that Malzahar. Malzahar coming down to stop that Nocturne and chasing him. Shen ult coming through, stopping that Hecarim. And it looks like SSU is going to peel them off, and I think this should be enough to close out the game with those 3 members falling here. We'll have to see because they can try to peel off. They might not be able to close, but most likely this should just close the game out. SSU is going to play it slow. They still have Baron up for about probably a couple more seconds now. They're going to let these waves crash. They're going to look for the end. Malzahar has teleport up so he can TP back in after he spends the ridiculous amount of gold that was in his inventory as they're looking to engage onto SSU. They're looking to peel back. Cayenne and Xayah coming down. Jarvan is on that backline. Ezreal coming through. Malzahar coming through, one-shotting that TF. Stopwatch coming through by Jerbear, keeping him up. That Gen W keep him up, and it does look like the game ends up closing there. I'm assuming SSU does take out the remaining 3 members on the side of Denver and come up 1-0 in the series.
Yeah, I mean, Shawnee just killed it that game, you know? Like we said, Denver came in with the ability with those semi-global ults to really kind of make something go, but, you know, Shawnee just disengaged and re-engaged in a way that played in their favor, and they came out on top for it, and they dominated in that first game.
And that's how they looked like in this Team Up Cove so far. Now we are going to take a short break as we head into Game 2. We'll bring that champ select with you shortly. So see you all in a bit.
Absolutely.
Ah, come on. What's the worst that could happen?
How's it decision? Yeah. So I go.
I shall.
Welcome back to game number 2 of SSU versus Denver. We got a nice solid draft going on. Looking about with your little league knowledge, looking across this draft, what do you think? What are you seeing that like catches your eye?
I think so far. Well, what's interesting is we have a Shin ban, right? Shin and Malzahar are banned this time because Denver does not want to deal with it again for a second time. They do not want those god or those summoners coming back. My smite talk. They do not want those summoners coming back out because Malzahar was just so damaging to Denver. I mean, Humble was just cleaning up. So I think that that's going to be something that, Denver, they just don't want to deal with again, which is interesting to see because that means Shawnee definitely did some damage to Denver there in that last game.
Yeah, and looking across these comps, you can see that with this Lucian versus Oriana matchup, unlike the last matchup where it was just both mages just shoving each other under tower and then looking to roam. That's what their job was here. Looking here, Lucian's going to want to bully this Oriana and look to roam with Lilia to invade this Kayn. Set this Kayn pick behind because most likely because of how Shawnee's comp is laid out, he should be going for that Shadow Assassin blue Kayn to give himself a lot more assassinating and pick potential because this guy, when we were doing scouting, looking at stuff, he was a mid laner and he did have experience on the Talon and Diana. So he's probably more comfortable on that assassin play style rather than the Hecarim play style that's more of a bulky tank nowadays.
Mm-hmm. So what do you think? So what do you think Denver's going to have to do to answer to Shawnee? What do you think their game plan is going to be going into the second game?
Think their best option here is to look for scaling. They have a lot of strong scaling tools on their side. Shadow Assassin does a lot of DPS to squishy targets. Gnar, he's got a good early mid game and he doesn't fall off late, but he does have the threat of large Gnar arts or large Gnar R's he can hit onto enemies. And then you have the classic Oriana Alistar delivery system with that big shockwaves, and you also have the late game insurance in a Kaisa that also will be wreaking havoc and DPS on the front line. So they want to look to scale here while SSU wants to take early and mid game objectives and gold leads and push that into closing out this game too.
Well, awesome. So it sounds like then that Shawnee is going to be kind of switching up because in the first game, I'd say, they were playing, pretty defensively. They were letting those kind of semi-global ults bring them into the fight, reposition, and then take them out. So it looks like this time they're going to be, trying to flip the script then and almost playing the aggressor in this game versus the previous.
That's exactly what they're planning on doing in this game. Honestly, it's the exact opposite. Teams are switching up the styles that they ran with in the previous game. Last game, we saw the Denver. They wanted to try to get those early kills, snowball the map, snowball the objectives, try to do that. SSU is trying to do that this time around. As you see, they're going for a cheeky Raptor invade to try to see where this Kane is going to be starting out on. We'll see if Jeremy might get a little cheeky here and do a Raptor start on the enemy Kane's Raptors, as we see a counter invade being put down as they do look to invade there. See Humble going for a little bit of trade in the mid lane. He's got to watch out, though, because that Alistar can flash Q him as he is being walked on. Sion's going to look to give him a Q out, but both sides are going to disengage and not opt into a 4v4 fight right there.
Yeah, definitely already just a lot more aggression going on. Almost from both teams, we just with everybody being right in mid lane, just kind of ready for a fight this early. It's definitely going to be an intense game for sure.
Yeah, and as you can see, Kane's like to do a solo start on the Raptors. And right here, Jeremy is actually looking to push the Kane off of his own Raptors and force him onto the other side of the map. It actually looks like that the SSU is going to look to contest, as he did pick all that, so he's not going to actually hit level 2. And it's going to delay the Kane's pathing because he did get more out of that. He does get chunked a little bit, but he's Lilia. He's able to kite out, heal up those camps. And Kane's actually opting into not sinking his red side, which is going to delay him a little bit, as he actually might be looking to actually do a counter invade onto this Lilia, who did have to spy away those Raptors. I'm going to actually go down over there so I can talk about that as it's happening. It does look like Kane is going to take away those Raptors. Lucian has the early rotate onto this Kane, though, as he's going to look to trade. Rel is coming down. Oh, and he clips through the wall and goes to the other side, which is actually a little unfortunate.
Yeah, Lucian not letting up, though, on this Kane. They were going to try to hunt him down a little bit, but it looks like they're going to just kind of opt to just kind of go back to what they were doing here.
Yeah, and so with what SSU was trying to do there, it's like, because it does look a little wonky, with the nature of how Kane is, and because he is, however, that Dark Harvest, he does want to go that Shadow Assassin. Kane is very susceptible to, when he falls behind, he falls behind. He doesn't have a lot of ins back in the game. If he can't get kills or keep even or even get a lead potentially, he can fall very far behind. So that's what SSU was looking to do in this early game, as they were trying to punish, as this Alistar did go in with that Aftershock, and they're re-engaging with the CC on this Rel, as they do deem level 3 before the enemy bot lane, so they're going to have a little bit more utility to use, as they're going to dish out some extra poke here.
Yeah, good little duo fight going on over there in that duo lane here. Ezreal and Rel kind of putting on that pressure on the Alistar and the Kai'Sa here.
Yeah, it looks like, as you can see, Kane, I was talking about Kane early, Kane's already looking flash, W, pulverized by the Alistar. Mitch is just going to follow and TP away, but the Sion is actually coming through here, as they're actually looking to maybe even put a kill and get that first blood onto that Sion, turning around that play they're getting. Yeah,
Alistar falling there, that's, that's pretty good for Shawnee so far, the 1 kill up, a little bit of a gold lead here, nothing crazy, about a 500 gold lead.
Now, I do want to point out that I think they're in the top laner on the side of Denver. I actually think did end up blundering, as we could see an engagement coming. He tried to shove out the top lane, because normally when a TP bot, actually I will talk about that later, as there is a flash engage onto the Ezreal, but they're going to look to just kite him out, as he looks like he might go down here, but he's actually going to turn around and pick up the kill, as the Kai'Sa takes 1 tower shot. And once again, the play in the bot lane goes into the favor of SSU, as the Gnar is looking to get a kill onto this Lilia, looks to chase him down, but he's not going to, because Lilia's got that move speed and going to run away. Okay, to go back to what I was saying about the top lane, he started to shove the wave in. That allowed Sion to actually get back and pick up CS and virtually lose nothing for that TP bot. All he did was gain a kill and the XP from that kill. He didn't lose XP or gold. He might have lost 2 to 3 minions. So it was a very good TP, when normally it could have actually ended up poor, but he put his wave in a good spot.
Yeah, mid lane kind of going like how we talked about, that Lucian's just kind of bullying that Orianna just kind of under tower, just keeping her there, farming up on those waves and just kind of doing his job there.
Yeah, and I wasn't paying attention to the mid lane, but actually, I think Humble did do a good thing called nowadays. It's called a cheater recall. If a champion has early push or early prio, they shove a wave early, and they go for an eco recall. Even is another way to call it, and they pick up a longsword, and that's what he did do in this lane. Same with the Orianna, and that's how helping him to push the lead he has over this Ori a little bit further. As we see, the Sion is going for a little trade onto the Gnar. But he's just going to look to farm it out because the thing with Sion's low economy. He doesn't need a lot of gold and resources to keep himself sustained in the game. But when he does get those gold and resources, it's actually very vital. As the Gnar does gain 6, he looks to go trade on the Sion because he does have the advantage. But it looks like it's just going to turn out into a wet noodle fight as nothing should amount from this besides both members getting chunked out a little bit. And looking in the CS department, we do see that there is a small CS lead for this Kayn. Actually, it looks like Arctic is going to look to try to do some cheeky stuff in that top lane, maybe get a kill. But in the end, he's just going to farm it out and just keep him an even lane. A lane that's actually supposed to be Gnar favored, who's supposed to build a CS lead up on the Sion, is actually even CS and actually a little behind. So it's actually very good for SSU as they're going to get a crash in on this bot lane. Look for a reset, get one of those eco recalls, maybe look to get some deep vision, and just put themselves in a good spot and try to look for an early dragon, maybe.
Yeah, and definitely it kind of looks like a little bit of a cooldown period here almost as things kind of get readjusted. Shawnee State's just kind of doing their thing. We'll see what happens in that bot lane. I'm interested to see if we might see any fighting or any little extra actions before that dragon does decide to spawn here.
Yeah, and looking across on that, you can see this is why you sometimes want to disrupt the tempo of a jungler like Kayn or Lilia. Because the thing is, for the most part, what they like to do before they hit their level 6, where they get those impactful ultimates, you have Lilia with her Lily Lullaby, put people to sleep to try to get some kills. Kayn has his ult where he goes inside of people to try to sustain and wait for his cooldowns. They really want to get to those points before they look to take some long engagements or trades. Humble's actually going to chase the Kayn off the Raptors, benefiting his jungler a little bit, allowing her to come and pick up those Raptors and pick up a camp lead as she is a little bit more sequence better than the Kayn.
Yeah, Kayn. It was looking like Kayn was about to opt to run. It looks like he might be coming down for that gank on the run the Ezreal, and it looks like he will get there.
And with that, SSU is having TPs come through as the Ezreal is playing through. Lucian picking up the first kill, double TP from the side of Denver as they are going to pick up the kill on the Ezreal. Look to see if they can kill the Lilia. Lily Lullaby is going to come down on 4 members, but it's actually not going to amount to anything as Denver does pick up 3 kills. SSU did look like they might have potentially be able to turn around, but they accidentally overcommitted and 2 members fall. As this wave gets shoved in the tower, and it most likely will end up going into the void. Lilia is here to actually pick it up, and Lilia has the potential to carry this game and to do a lot of damage in this game. And so it's actually good that she's able to pick up this kill and kind of put herself a little bit further ahead of the Kayn, who is actually, he's going to pick a wave off the top side, so it might not be that big of an advantage into her favor. But it was a very good play on Denver's behalf.
Yeah, and it was all we saw last game was Denver just struggling to get, any kind of momentum in the team fights that came out. But, that was a good fight for Denver. That's what they needed right now. So.
Yeah, and looking across the boards, things are going to probably we're going to have a small cooldown period, most likely, where not either team is looking for much. As we see, Gnar might try to look for trades onto the Sion, but he's most likely not going to kill Sion at this point unless Arctic does mess up in that top lane. But we're going to see maybe pick up plates, pick up some gold. There is a small gold lead in SSU's favor, but not too much to damper or deter fights for Denver. Just see them trading in the bot lane. We're probably just going to see small skirmishes like that back and forth because the dragon has been staying on the map for a while now, as they might try to look for something on this Gnar who is sitting by in that river. But it looks like Lily is just going to once again clear her camps from that top to bot sequence and just try to keep the small gold lead she is building up in that jungle currently with her camp sequencing. And one of those important things I actually want to point out, as I was mentioning the CS lead, is that even though they did pick up those 3 kills, you can see across the board there is 15 lead for most of the lanes. Sion is actually looking for a roam bot lane to try to get that dragon, so he's going to look to R into there. So he's going to give up a bit of his CS lead he had, try to see if he can make a play on the map since his TP is up. But looking at the more carry-centric roles, you do see a small CS lead in the mid lane, about 10. Gnar is actually looked like he's going to get engaged on by this Lilia, so we're probably going to see Lily Lullaby come down, as Lilia most likely can solo kill this Gnar here. He transforms, he's going to run away, but Jeremy's got to be careful he doesn't get pulled under tower, and he actually does, and he might actually fall down, and a slight misplay by Jerbear gives a kill over onto Weshi on this Gnar.
Yeah, I mean, that is not, Shawnee's kind of, they're almost seeming to kind of get caught up in this Denver pressure here, so Shawnee just is going to have to kind of get reset as soon as they can, and then just kind of find their rhythm again, because Denver is kind of starting to put the pressure on here, so let's see how Shawnee decides to answer that back.
Yeah, we see a Sion R coming down in that top lane. Most likely a kill should not happen. I'm going to look up there real quick to see if anything could. It does look like Gnar is getting dangerously low here. He is about to pop into Mega Gnar, but it doesn't look like he might not be able to get the kill on the Sion because he does not have his R. Sion's coming through. Kill might come through on this mid lane as Orianna stalls out. Kill does come through on that top lane. Gnar losing his bounty he did have, but in that mid lane, Orianna does pick up the kill on the Lucian, putting the Lucian a little bit further behind. And that kind of nullifies a little bit of the CS lead that the Lucian was building up on this Orianna, because she has that kill. That 10 CS, 10, 15 CS, which is about a kill worth, of actually loses value once Orianna gets that kill. She had a couple assists. And we'll have to see how this Kraken ends up playing, as we do see an engagement on the top lane, nothing really happened. We have to see how this Kraken plays out. Normally you see those mid lane Lucians, especially into squishier comps, go for the likes of the Gale Force to give them more peel options or re-engage options. But he's opting into the Kraken, so he's going to be doing a lot more damage through his auto attacks this game. So we're going to see how that's going to play out in these mid game or early to mid game fights as we exit this early game.
Kind of hitting that little bit of that cooldown period again here. Everyone's just kind of doing their thing. You got Lilia is actually on Rift Herald right now, so it looks like she's going to be kind of taking that on. Lucian's there to help now. It looks like there might be a jump ball. Maybe not. Maybe Shawnee will get this Rift Herald here uncontested. We'll see. But nope, Kane's coming in right now. Looks like he's going to be trying to get something on that.
Now bot lane, we do see an engagement as they try to dive the Ezreal, but they ended up burning heal in both their ultimates, and does look like SSU did pick up the Rift Herald as Humble dies in the mid lane, but Lilia is going to pick up the... Unfortunately, actually, it does go up to Godzilla flip on the Rel, and they trade 1-for-1. Mitch traded sums in the bot lane, and it looks like they will not, unfortunately, they will not get the extra gold that normally you do get when you pick up that Rift Herald. They're going to try to crack open this mid lane tower right now. I don't think they will have enough damage, and if they do, it will be very close. And it does look like they will have enough damage to pick up that first tower on the map and get a little bit more gold into their favor, as there is a trade in the top lane as Nard does a double hop off of the Scion. It looks like they're going to try to get this last crash, but they got to be careful because Orianna can look for an ult here, and she doesn't miss it, as Lucian is looking to TP in, and they're going to look for a turnaround kill onto this Alistar as Kayn comes in with his transformation, going for that blue Kayn like we talked about in Champ Select. Most likely here we will enter another cooldown period, as some champions are going to look to get a little bit extra gold because most champions at this point in the game are on their first item spikes. You can see a couple have already gotten those spikes, and most of them have most of the components for that extra extension, and so we will be seeing those get complete. We're probably going to see a very powerful and probably a 5v5 centric fight in that bot lane for the second dragon that is spawning in about a minute. Cyanol is coming down in that top lane to pick up that wave, scare off the Gnar, as he actually is looking to take an engagement onto this Gnar, who is about to pop into his Mega. He's going to peel out and walk away. And I'm going to look at Scion R cooldown because that is at a minute and 45. So if a dragon fight does occur, they will be missing that key ultimate on Arctic for the fight. But it does look like there could be a small skirmish in that river, sorry, for the crab that is won over by the cave.
No line of secession.
And as we can see, both the junglers are trying to get their back off, and like I was mentioned before, everyone's looking to complete their first item spikes, and that's what's happening as they actually try to look for a pick off on this Rel, but Rel's going to flash and crash down away to safety. That is a key utility theme burn though on that Rel, because Rel very loves to have her flash up as it gives her a lot more options and range for her engagements.
Yeah, so it looks like still everything's just kind of, just kind of chilling out here. Still kind of in that, not a cooldown period per se, but, just kind of farming up. Everybody's doing their thing here.
Yeah, and as you see Kane try to start up that dragon there, got bullied off. Humble went on to chunk out the Orianna in the mid lane, exchanging ultimates, which actually gives SSU an advantage for this dragon now, because Orianna, as they're looking to collapse onto this Ori and onto the Kane, as the Rel R comes down, Mitch picks up the first kill of this fight. Lily ult is not coming down quite yet as they're going to chase out this Alistar. Mitch picking up 2 kills on this Ezreal, as Jeremy looks to try to get this Kai'Sa, but they're most likely going to peel off and pick up drag number 2 as Kane's trying to look for a re-engage here, playing in that wall. But everything's going to fizzle out, and SSU comes on top, picking up 2 kills and that dragon.
Yeah, that poor Kane, man. It's what Shawnee needed, and Kane just kind of on the sidelines just ended up watching his teammates unfortunately meet their demise there for the amount of time before they respawn. But Shawnee came out with the dragon and a couple kills, so they're still ahead. Despite despite the big team fight earlier where they lost, Shawnee is still in it, and they're still doing very well. Despite the pressure that Denver
we actually see a solo kill going as the Lucian is going in on the Kai'Sa. Kai'Sa ult is going to get exchanged, and it will fizzle out. Thought they were going to come up. Actually, no. Kai'Sa E's in aggressively on the Lucian. She cannot auto attack while she is in her E, and Lucian double taps with his passive, taking her out. But it does look like the Kayn and Alistar are looking for him, but he is going to try to get a recall off, and does not look like they're going to make it to him in time as he gets out safely, as they're actually looking for the Orianna in the mid lane right now. Shockwave coming down onto Mitch Fortune. He's throwing down his WR, picking up that kill, and getting 3 kills in the last minute onto this Ezreal. And once again, this Ezreal Rel combo is popping off, much like it did in that last game.
Yeah, it looks like Gnar's coming down mid lane to try to put some help. Alistar too.
Yeah, and as fizzling out, SSU is starting to take their stronger mid-game team at the moment because of items, breakpoints, and they're trying to expand this gold lead because they know that if they keep holding on, Kai'Sa and Orianna will start doing more DPS or similar DPS to their counterparts on the side of SSU. They're looking to take away this red buff that they're trying to gift over to the Kai'Sa, gets taken down Kane. Rel is looking for the engagement onto this Kai'Sa as they're trying to pick her off. Kai'Sa flash coming in, nice Q stopping her from going over the wall, and Mitch Fortune picks up the kill on that Kai'Sa. Now Kane is trapped in between the turrets as Mitch is picking up another kill, and now all of a sudden this Ezreal, who was on even footing with that Kai'Sa, is now 1.5k gold over her, as this Gnar is actually looking for a solo kill as the Kraken Slayer does look to come through, and E coming away Lucian R coming through, and well played by Humble, keeping himself. Sorry, actually flashed forward, actually takes that kill on Gnar, getting a nice solo kill in the bot lane as he outplays the top laner of Denver.
Yeah, Shawnee State did very well to kind of flip around that early Denver pressure, and now they're exuding their own. They are putting it to Denver right now, so Shawnee's looking in really good form despite the start that they had this game.
Yeah, and with looking at that, you can see just from the gold leads that every 3 members of SSU have a gold lead. They've gotten extremes amount of gold in the last couple of minutes that now they have to play a little bit safer, that they don't want to accidentally give those over for no reason. They want to make sure they win a fight and give it over. But they're looking in a very good position because, like I talked about, the Kane, he doesn't want to fall behind. And the Kane has fallen pretty far behind. He is down 1,000 gold inside the jungle over his counterpart on the other side. So it's looking scary for Denver. They need to try to find a way to hold out, stall the game out, let Orianna get in position, let Kane catch up a little bit. But SSU is doing a very good job keeping up that pressure, but they are looking to turn onto this Lucian in the bot lane, pick up one of those shutdowns. But he's looking to try to get a turnaround kill, but he doesn't, and it goes over to the Kane. And that's actually very large for Denver as they got it onto their 3rd damage source they have in this comp, putting him closer to be backing into this game. And Humble going that, he just gotta respect the Kane presence being there, because Dragon's almost up. He can see that the bot camps are taking as they're actually looking to engage on the bot lane. Q's coming through this Ezreal, poking out the team as Lily is actually going to ult in onto the Rel. Rel's going to come through. Ezreal swiping across 2 members, hitting them largely as the Orianna Shockwave hits 4 as SSU unfortunately can't get a kill and actually lose a member, but they do chunk out the members of Denver out enough that they're going to look to crack the base open and then rotate that into the Cloud Drake that is spawning in about 20 seconds.
Yeah, Shawnee able to crack it. Yeah, it does look like they're going to be falling back here, trying to find something. Nard trying to come in and make a play here. Alistar still very weak. Shawnee could pick him up. Ezreal looking like he might fall here. Jerbeard coming in with the kill. Nard over pushing himself. And it looks like it is a free-for-all right now in every part of the map almost. Kane going down.
Lilia flashing forward, trying to pick up that kill. Jeremy is very strong right now in this Lilia, knocking a bunch of members low as Orianna is going to come in. But Humble is here to get that cleanup as he is coming in here. And it does overall look like it was a 3-for-4 trade, or sorry, 3-for-3 trade because the Rel did die before that fight started. And with excellent play of playing around the Lilia burn passive in Leandri's, they're able to turn around a 3v5 fight, picking up 3 kills and turning that pressure into this Cloud Drake.
Yeah, so Shawnee already converging on that, it looks like here. Taking it out. And Denver not really able to do much. They're all, you know, who was left from the fight was very weak. So Shawnee kind of getting this Cloud Drake uncontested.
Yeah, and as we can see, looking at the items, you can see that Lilia, most members across the board have 2 items in every position. Besides that, top lane is a little bit down. Kane does have his Muramana. It's about to evolve into that next level. And these fights are going to be very explosive. You have a lot of explosiveness in these teams. You have Ezreal ults that can come through and knock out enemies. You have Rel that can flash, crash down forward to start a fight, and then have Lilia follow up. SSU also does have tools to play because they can choose to opt in to have Lilia seeds come down, try to poke out members. Ezreal Qs have those like try to take off some health bars of the members before a fight to start. While on the other side of the Denver, they really only have one way to do. They have Alistar flank with an Orianna ball, and they're just going to get in there. They want to just get in there, one-shot as many members as possible, make it a nice, short, quick fight. Because the fights get extended, like you can see there, Lilia gets so much value as she can just sit there reapplying Leandri's, reapplying her passive, and just burn through the members of Denver.
Yeah, Shawnee kind of, it looks like we might be fishing a little bit here. Rel kind of caught off here with the Lilia, but looks like nothing crazy is going to come out of that. Looks like everyone's going to kind of disperse, maybe head back to their lanes.
Yeah, and actually looking at that, the Alistar messed up his combo there. And they're looking to actually put a multi-lullaby down on this Orianna as Rel is re-engaging. Ezreal coming through half health in the Orianna. Rel is most likely gonna fall here down to that Kai'Sa. Rel is using her move speed to play out through this fight. Orianna ball coming down only on one, but flashing forward, trying to pick up this Rel. Backside, there is a Sion that is picking off the rest of the team as Ezreal is so far ahead, he's peeling through. Gnar are coming down through, picking off that Ezreal. Sion chasing down the Orianna. We have a 1v1 fight on each side as the Gnar is trying to pick out Lilia and Sion's trying to peel off the Orianna. Flash forward from the Gnar as he's not able to pick up the Lilia. He's getting burned out. Sion has returned to the engagement. He actually gets hit by the E-clip, trying to get to his Orianna, slow down. Lilia comes through, picks up that kill. And are they going to try to chase down this Orianna? She's going to phase rush and most likely just run away here. As the fight ends up going 4-for-3 into the favor of SSU, as they pick up this mid wave, Lilia picking up more kills. Her Magi's getting hugely stacked as Orianna actually walked up, trying to trade back into the Sion now as her team has respawned. Rel is respawned back into the fight. Orianna's then going to get turned on by the Rel Sion. Sion takes out the Orianna. Alistar is looking now to pick off this Rel now as everyone's respawning and members are rejoining the fray here. As they pick off into that Alistar who has no R, he's going to peel off the Lilia. Kay's looking for that Rel. Lilia coming down on the Kai'Sa, interrupting the Lilia W with her own W from Alistar. Sion coming through to hit that Alistar, knocking him out. And it's just been an action-packed minute and a half as SSU picks up another 3 kills without losing any of their members this time. So overall in the last minute and a half, it goes in a total of a 7-for-3 favor to SSU as they look to pick up this Baron.
Yeah, Shawnee is not playing games anymore. They said, all right, we're getting into this late game. It's getting a little too long. You know, we all want to eat by this 30-minute mark, so boys, it's time to clean this up. And they are just coming out swinging from the gate. Shawnee State is just blowing hands here at Denver, not letting Denver have a chance to recover. More team fighting here. We will see another kill for Shawnee. Lilia collapsing on the Gnar. Gnar probably falling down. Gnar is falling down. Shawnee State is just destroying these guys. What happened in the past 2 minutes that Shawnee just flipped the switch? There was a gear shift here, and Shawnee is out for blood now.
Yeah, as you see, SSU is just trying to outplay the enemy, forcing them into bad fights, forcing them into odd number fights. The enemy is taking the bait and taking those fights. As we actually see Mitch Fortune, probably not thinking he's on the stream, puts down those Amumu tears, trying to put a slight BM that no one can see. As Humble absolutely one-shots the Kane. Kane didn't have time to ult or do anything as Humble with his 3-item spike just literally one-hits him. And as you can see, this Sion just brushing off the Kai'Sa here, just taking so much damage. Is like, I'm just going to return this into you. He's actually, the Ion's out for blood here. He's actually ulting in on the 3 members. He's most likely just going to fall here. But as you can see, he's so darn tanky as they do finally take him out. But SSU, in the meantime, take out that bot lane. And actually, Lilia and Ezreal snipe out the Kai'Sa, so they trade 1 for 1, even though they're on the other side of the map.
Yeah, Sion did very well at being a raid boss there. He was immovable, unkillable. Shawnee taking advantage of that. Just a madhouse going on Denver's side. You can't tell what to watch just
Rel's
because of
re-engaging
everything.
onto the backline. Lilia comes through, wipes out the remaining members. As you can see here, most likely from here, SSU will close out game number 2 with another stomp and outplay of performance. They go 2-0 today as they move on into the final 4 of Teemo Cup, not dropping a game so far in it.
I need water. I need a break. What just happened? What just happened to Shawnee in the last 3-4 minutes of that game? It just went from a nice nonchalant breakfast and brunch with the parents to a slugfest in the back alley behind a Bob Evans. I don't know what just happened to Shawnee, but that was an absolute slugfest towards the end.
I think you described it perfectly. I think that was a spot on analogy. They're out there just calmly just talking with the in-laws and all of that, and all of a sudden they just get into a brawl out back, taking right lefts, and in the end they do come out on top, taking Denver out 2-0, which that second game did look a little rough in that early game, but SSU was able to keep their cool, keep their composure, come back, slug their way back into the game, and end up taking it.
All right, so after what just happened there, Cass, we're going to go ahead and we're going to take a break here to kind of refocus and reprocess what was going on, because as you can tell, I need a minute. So we will be back after this short break here, so hang out and stay for more League of Legends.
I grew up making games, so I wanted to make a career out of that. Shawnee being a small school is the thing that drew me to it. Shawnee is nationally ranked in the Princeton list for game design. A lot of the professors own their own businesses. That kind of prompted me to start my own business. I started a game studio. I don't think that would have been possible if the school were bigger, and Shawnee put that all together for me. I'm Dalton, and I invite you to discover Shawnee State University for yourself. Please visit discover.shawnee.edu.
Welcome back, everybody. We got you here today for the post-game interview. We have Arctic Wolf or Chase in the top lane and Sean Turk, the humble gamer, in the mid lane. With both had two very strong performances in both games. Humble decided to buffer his KDA, picking up like 15 kills in that first game, 9 in that second game. How are you guys feeling after coming off that 2-0 victory over Denver?
It went pretty well. There wasn't a lot of solo kills or like super aggressive mid lanes. It was really just farming until either I'm TPing bot and matching a gank or showing up to fights. Just showing up with items and playing them well.
Chase, you got anything to say about the game so far?
It was a fun like 2 games. Like I don't think there was a second that I mean there was a few minutes at the early stages of not fighting, but I mean both games were teleporting back and forth, going from lane to lane just to fight. I feel like so yeah, it was really fun.
Well, game one, at least they had us like scared a little bit from the draft because they drafted the Nocturne top to counter the Shen. Shen can't R at all or TP when the Nocturne ult is up. And so if they played it correctly, they could probably like 4-man or 5-man bot without either of us being able to help. But then they just like TFR'd first, and then Arctic Wolf is just right on there. And so he gets his R off before the Nocturne ult comes down, and we're there to respond.
Yeah, for sure. It was nice rotations out of everyone, I believe.
Yeah, because I know historically from like a couple previous games and series that TF could sometimes be problematic. Like TF or Galio with their semi-global ultimates could become problematic to deal with, and you guys dealt with it pretty effectively. Even if they did screw up their combo, even if the combo wasn't there with the Nocturne, you were still responding to the TF appropriately. It was very well played and like well thought out and a good game to watch.
Well, there's like really just not many mid laners that have the global presence of TF. TF just has that global presence. He can roam much more than any other mid. But at least the Malzahar pick, I really like it because if he does leave, I can always just insta-clear the wave and punish him for it in some way. If I have TP, then I can match it, and if I don't, I could at least still punish him. He's never getting it for free.
Comment?
Cool. Well, so
Yeah, I was gonna say, you have any questions?
Yeah, so let's kind of talk about going from that first game to that second game. You guys made, a complete 180 in the game plan. The first game, it was very much the way it looked like to us when you guys were playing was, just kind of wait for, once they were coming in to engage you guys, you would disengage and then re-engage in the way that played out in your favor. So those team fights were going in your favor. Now, from the first game to the second game you flipped the script. The second game, you came in with a more offensive draft picking than you did in the first game. So was there, what was kind of the talk about that? What was the talk from, we're going to go from kind of a defensive plan to this, let's just end these guys in the second game and go for this offensive play?
I mean, we kind of had an all-in like offensive comp both games. We first picked Rel in both games. We had Jarvan Rel for game one, and then we had Rel Scion game two, especially also like with Lilia Ease to kind of set up some engagements. But game one, they were the ones trying to make the plays with TFR and Nocturne R. But we were kind of just like allowing that to happen because we were in positions where if they were trying to force something, which they were trying to force things a lot, they would just get punished for it. And so there's a lot of times that they thought they saw an opening and would come in on us, and then the counter engage was just a lot stronger. Nocturne R-ing an Ezreal with E flash under turret when when Mal's is coming up with R, it's not gonna go well. But they were just always ready to push that button. If they ever let off the gas and then gave us an opening, it would have been a more aggressive. You would have seen a more aggressive game from us.
Yeah, it was really well worded because that's basically exactly how everything ended up playing out. Felt like every time they had a cooldown off, they wanted to go in on you, and you guys just responded appropriately with the situations you were given. So, like how I like to close out every interview, what do you want to say to the fans that are watching at home and supporting you guys as you make this run through the Teemo Cup as you enter the Final Four?
I'd like to say, I'm graduating this semester, so this is my, final time with SSU Esports, and it's been a lot of fun. Especially we've gone further than we have. We've had a better win-loss ratio this final season of CLoL, and then we've done way better than we've done in the Teemo Cup in the years that I've played. So this is our best run so far, and it feels like a good send-off.
For myself, it's a first time experience. So I'm loving the time and making the friends and stuff like that. The fun moments and all that stuff. So I can't wait for the next few years of keep on playing this, but we got to finish it out and get this win.
All right, you hear it here. SSU, their team is looking to take strong in this Teemo Cup as they keep on pushing through, not dropping any games so far. We will see everyone back next week for the Final Four match. We don't know the matchup yet, but we will see you there. Thanks everyone for watching.
Bears.
Go Bears.
Go Bears.
Thank you.